What's up, guys? It's Ryan and you're watching Ryan Vision. Long time no see. I know it's been years since I posted a Jeep video. Some of you guys are getting pretty mad at me. I was posting like Acura videos, stuff on recalls, things like that. You're going, where the hell are the Jeep videos? I hear ya, and I'm back. So let me just quickly kind of explain what's happened. So basically in late 2018, Project ZJ, I did sell it. I sold it to a guy named Chris from Southern California. He's down in the San Diego area. He was very familiar with the build. I posted it on Craigslist kind of more as just a feeler to see, you know, what could I get for it. I felt like it was time for a new project because really the only things that I could still do to Project ZJ would be the big ticket items like 1-ton axle swap and everything that goes along with that. And it gets super expensive to do the big axles, the new tires, the wheels. Of course, you're going to do coilovers or ORI struts. I would have caged it, things like that. So it was just going to get super expensive at that point. And I decided, you know what, I think it's time to let somebody else enjoy this project, all the work that's been done on it. It works super well. Let somebody get a hold of that and have fun with it, because it was sitting in my garage a lot, sitting on a trickle charger. And that was actually what did it is one day I tripped over the cord to the trickle charger, and it was the second time I did that, and I said, you know what, it's a shame this awesome machine is just sitting here not getting used. Somebody needs to enjoy it. And so that's Chris down in San Diego, California. So that was late 2018, sold Project ZJ, and then picked this up. This is a 2005 LJ, which is basically a TJ, but it is 10 inches longer on the wheelbase. And you can see this area right here in front of the rear tire is quite a bit bigger. And so basically you get like 2 inches more legroom, 10-inch more wheelbase, a little more length overall. I think it's like a foot long or more of cargo area. So that's what I was looking for. I wanted a nice long wheelbase. I drove some TJs with the 93-inch wheelbase. Felt really weird. You know, compared to driving a ZJ, which ended up with about 110-inch wheelbase. So this factory wheelbase is 103 on this, and we're going to stretch it out a bit. So let me kind of walk you through how this thing was when I bought it. I just bought it a couple months ago, and let me just kind of tell you what was on it, what I've changed, and what I'm going to change. So it's a 2005 LJ. It's got the 4.0 inline 6 in it. It's got an automatic transmission with overdrive. It's the 4-speed. So that was one of the reasons I went with LJ. Also, LJ's, you know, you get them 2004, 5, and 6, and they came with the 4-speed automatic with overdrive, or you could get a 6-speed manual. The earlier TJs that I was looking at, they had a 3-speed automatic, and so it just seemed like it took forever to shift, and I definitely wanted 4-speed with the overdrive. That's what I was used to in the ZJ. So it runs pretty good. I do miss the power of the V8 in the ZJ. I had the 5.2, and that thing ran really good, sounded amazing, obviously. So I'm still getting used to having a 4.0, as a lot of you guys call them, the 4-point slow. Yeah, definitely not as much pickup as the V8, but I have to say it runs pretty good, and people just, you know, go on and on and on about the reliability of the 4.0. So for now, I'm going to stick with it. I do have a couple little issues I need to work out. I'm chasing a random misfire, and I feel like maybe it's fuel injector related. I already did the coil, I did the spark plugs, and that didn't change anything. And then I did some seafoam through the fuel, and that got rid of it for a while, and then it came back. So I have a feeling maybe something in the fuel system is clogged or dirty. So I'm going to take that apart, clean it really well, put new fuel injectors in, and hopefully that'll take care of it, because it runs great. It's just every once in a while at idle, it'll stumble a little bit. You can smell it running a little rich, almost like a fuel injector's clogged. And then it starts having a misfire. So I'll track that down. But other than that, the engine compartment, super clean. It does have a minor rear main seal leak, super common. Also, I think it's leaking a little oil from the valve cover gasket. So, you know, we'll definitely do that, get it all leak free like Project ZJ was. But yeah, basically this is Project LJ. So it came like this when I bought it. It had a hard top on it, and I was able to sell that for, you know, almost $2,000. Those things, the LJs are pretty rare, and especially LJs with hard tops, so people are always trying to get a hold of those. So that was good right off the bat. Got some money out of that to be able to pump back into the project. It did come with these fresh, literally brand new 35 by 1250 tires and 15-inch just black steely wheels. I think they're like a Walmart brand. I don't know. Mastercraft, maybe you guys know. It's a Mastercraft tire. They're pretty good so far. I haven't used them off-road, but on-road they're pretty smooth. They're definitely balanced. They're not wearing funny. They're not super noisy or anything. So for now, I'm just going to run them. Also, you can tell a Jeep is lifted. It's on a Rubicon Express 4.5-inch lift kit. And the previous owner, he had the rear raked up a lot. He had like at least a 2-inch coil puck in the back. And so I've leveled that out now. You can see it's sitting pretty much level now. But it was raked up in the back and it just rode horrible. It was bouncing all over the road. Literally had like no suspension travel in the rear. So got those coil pucks out of there. Night and day difference. This thing rides so much better now. So it's sitting on 4.5-inch. I haven't done anything else to the lift. All of this is coming off. As you guys know, if you follow Project ZJ, I usually work with Iron Rock Off-Road for their suspension. It's absolutely amazing, flexes like crazy, super strong. The way it's built for tire and rock clearance, just everything about it is amazing. So I got a hold of them, and they did jump on board for Project LJ. So we're going to have their long arm suspension on here. With, of course, cross members and belly skid and all of that good stuff. So it's going to be all armored up like Project ZJ was, and it's going to have a lot of suspension travel. That'll also give us the ability to stretch the wheelbase a bit, maybe push the back just a little bit and push the front out and get a little closer to that 110-inch wheelbase that I love so much with Project ZJ. So one of the things before we get into the suspension, let me just kind of walk you through everything. Hopefully this isn't too long of a video, but I want to give you guys a full picture before we get going on this, because I think we're going to pick up momentum really fast once things start rolling. So one of the thing about LJs, and I guess TJs too, I'm learning this as I go. I'm new to the Wrangler scene. It's very common that they have rust issues, sometimes in the body, but mostly in the frame. And so I looked at a lot of LJs and I saw some horrible rusty ones. I didn't find a super clean one. I know they're out there, I just couldn't find one. And this one was as clean as I could find, but it does have some issues that I'm gonna need to address before I put the long arms on. So let me kind of walk you through that. The frame looks okay. You can find some surface rust here and there. But basically the problem is inside the frame, this flat section between the control arm mounts where the transfer case bolts up and everything, the transfer case skid plate. If you stick your finger in those holes and feel around, there is rust inside the frame. And you know, probably it wouldn't be an issue for many years, but I'm not going to risk it, especially putting all the time, energy, money into a project like this. I don't want to have to rip it apart later or end up trying to sell it to someone with rust. That's not something I want to do. So what we're gonna do is cut off the bottom section of this frame, anywhere from half of the bottom of the frame up to 2/3, and then there's two companies I'm trying to work with right now, so I won't mention them by name yet. I'm gonna see if they want to jump on board the project. But basically they provide what's almost like a frame stiffener, and the way it's designed is you cut the bottom half or 2/3 of the frame off, get all the rust out of the inside, clean it up, coat it, and then it's like a preformed frame section that slides over the existing frame, what's left of it, and then you weld it on and you basically have a new center section of the frame. They also make the sections that go up over the wheel, not quite to the top, but you know, the part that starts coming up, and same thing in the front. So might do those sections as well, depending on what we see when we rip into it. But basically, I just don't want to worry about it down the road. And I'm in California. I don't deal with snow and stuff. I'm pretty close to Tahoe, but I don't drive on the snowy roads. So once I get it cleaned up, it'll never be an issue again. And then what you do is you drill some holes in the bottom of it. And actually, I think they come pre-drilled in the new frame pieces. And that just allows water and stuff to drain out of the frame instead of sitting in there. Because like I said, you put your finger in there, you feel rust, but not just rust. There's like dirt in there, sand type stuff. There's all kinds of stuff sitting in that frame from all the years of, you know, probably doing some wheeling, going to the beach, maybe doing some water crossings. There's a lot of crap sitting inside this frame, and it'll just start rotting away. So got to get that taken care of first. We'll get the frame all cleaned up, coated. Everything will be a nice clean black, and then we'll be able to start mounting the suspension components from Iron Rock Off-Road. I'm gonna go with a 4-inch lift. So right now this is, like I said, a 4.5-inch lift. We're gonna bring that down a 1/2 inch, because with the high fenders on this, and I'm actually gonna do some different fenders from Gatekeeper Off-Road. So with highline fenders, you can get a lot of clearance without having to jack it way up on the suspension lift. So we're gonna try to kind of keep it a little bit lower, have a nice low center of gravity with a 4-inch lift, but we'll still have all the suspension travel we need, because we'll be able to get those tires tucked up real high into the fenders, and of course down travel won't be an issue. So yeah, we'll stretch this wheelbase as much as we can. We'll get it lowered a little bit, get that frame cleaned up, get the Iron Rock Off-Road suspension on there. So let's talk about axles. This one came, the LJs, a lot of people don't know this, the LJs come with a Dana 44 rear axle. So this one has a Dana 44 with 373 gears and a limited slip differential. I'm gonna run it for now, guys. We had the Dana 44A, the aluminum center section on Project ZJ. We stuffed 488 gears in there and an Aussie locker. The thing was amazing. I never had a problem with it. I never even changed the axle shafts. They were the factory shafts. This one, probably gonna do 488 gears, either 456 or 488. I'm leaning toward 488 again. And probably gonna, you know, do some upgrades this go around. I'm gonna probably do the ARB lockers or Eaton E locker. I wanna have selectable lockers this time. They cost a lot more money. That's why I didn't do them on Project ZJ, but after doing the auto lockers, the Aussie lockers, there's a lot of clicking and clacking around town, and when I did the one in the front, the rear was okay, but the one in the front, man, it made U-turns just a disaster. Just felt terrible, sounded terrible. Everybody's looking at you like you're broken and about to fall apart, and that's about what I felt like. So probably going to do selectables, like I said, either ARB front and rear or E-lockers front and rear, something I can turn on and off, that way they're not engaging on the street. So we'll keep the Dana 44 in the rear for now. It is disc brakes. The brakes on this feel really solid, but you will see a truss on this Dana 44 for the Iron Rock Off-Road suspension, because it uses a 4-link in the rear and a 3-link in the front. Let's go to the front axle, which is the good old, you guys are gonna hate it, Dana 30, and it's a low pinion. So some people think, you know, TJ's LJs have high pinion. Not the case. It is a low pinion. It does not have the reverse cut gears. But again, I had a low pinion Dana 30 on Project ZJ, 488 gears locked. I had the Iron Rock Off-Road almost alloy axle kit in there with the Spicer 760X U-joints and the welded in caps. That thing did amazing. I also had the Iron Rock Off-Road internal sleeves to strengthen the housing and prevent deflection. And the thing worked great. Never had a problem with it. Never broke one of those shafts. It was amazing. But again, you know, I wheel like I have a Dana 30. I don't wheel like I have Dana 60s. And that matters. You gotta, you know, I'm a light foot on this thing. I'm more of a crawler, so shouldn't be an issue. That's what we're gonna start out. Now, I do think eventually this rig is gonna end up on, I don't know if it'll end up on tons, but I'm definitely gonna do something with the axles. What I would love to do is throw some Core 44 axles under it, the G2s. I would love to have those front and rear with the lockers, but they're just so darn expensive. So maybe we'll do that at some point, and then I could step the tires up to 37s, possibly even, you know, get up into the 40-inch tire. So we'll see. But for now, I think we're going to run 35s. We're going to keep the Dana 30 and the Dana 44, but we're definitely going to beef them up, just like we did on Project ZJ. We'll beef them up. We'll get crossover steering on here and get them geared, get them locked, and start crawling. So along the subject of crawling, I'm going to do something, hopefully do something that I don't think a ton of people know about, and it's kind of specific to this transmission and transfer case setup, or actually just this transmission. But I'm going to do something that's called a Ruby crawler, and it's basically replaces the tail section of the automatic transmission in this thing, and it's like a doubler. Basically it gives you a 7-to-1 crawl ratio. So that's even lower than like a Rubicon. A lot of guys buy the 241 OR case out of the Rubicon Wranglers. That gets you 4-to-1, which is better than what this thing has right now. But for probably the same or less money that you could get a used 241 OR, you can get this Ruby crawler set up and have the 7-to-1. I personally saw that used in an LJ on the Rubicon Trail. It's actually a relative of one of my good friends. So, or I should say a good friend of mine's good friend. It's a relative of theirs. And met him one time on the trail, saw it in action. He told me a little bit about it, and it's awesome. So we won't go into detail on that yet, but hopefully if I can make that happen, we'll do a video just on that to give you all the information of how the install's done, how it works, the advantages it gives you, things like that. So that pretty much covers, well, so let's go back to how it came. I told you it had a hardtop, got rid of that. It had this, what I thought was really ugly, I think it was a Smitty built bumper on it, and that's also what it has on the front. So I took that thing off. I could not stand it. It was just way too many tubes flying around every which way. So this is from Goliath Off-Road. They're out of Florida. Check them out online. I'll put a link to them. But also, they have a whole bunch of bumpers and different products for the Jeeps, not just the TJs and LJs, all kinds of stuff. But they stepped up and provided this bumper. It's called the Trekker, and it's very nice. I love the way it looks. In fact, I posted this on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, check out Project LJ on Instagram. I posted a picture of this bumper compared to some other bumpers so that the people on Instagram could vote, and they did, and this thing won by a landslide. Everybody loved the way it looked. You can see it's still raw steel right now. Just super clean, the angles on it and everything. Fits really nice and close to the body if you don't have a body lift, which I don't. It's just really nice bumper. They have an option for shackle mounts or not. They sent me both of them just so I could take pictures and video. But man, this one with the shackle mounts just looks awesome. I love the look of it. I love how it sticks out. It gives good protection, and it also wraps around the corner, but not more than it needs to. So I'll do a separate video, probably just talking more about the bumper, but that really cleaned up the back. Also, it had the factory tire carrier on it and the factory tail lights, so got rid of those just to clean it up. I am going to run a tailgate mounted tire carrier, but I need to beef it up for the bigger tires. I didn't want to run the 35 on the stalker. So working on that. But yeah, these were super cheap LED lights from, I think it was Amazon. Super cheap, maybe like 40 bucks, I don't even remember. And I didn't have to drill some massive hole in the tub. All I had to do was drill 3 holes for the screws on each side and 1 hole in the center for the wires to pass through. Super easy to mount, easy to wire up. So it's a running light and a brake light, and of course it gives you your turn signal too. But you do lose your reverse light, which is another great thing about the Goliath off-road bumper. It's got room for flush pods, so those will be hooked up as my reverse lights, and I'll probably also have them on a auxiliary switch in case I want to run them all the time when I'm on the trail, just to have visibility or to give someone else some light when they need it. So that really cleaned up the rear. Have some rust on the fuel tank skid plate, the factory one, so definitely get rid of that, get something beefy there. I'll check in with Gatekeeper Off-Road. I think they might have something for that. If not, talk to them or somebody else about getting something made. Got something on the camera lens there. And so yeah, that's pretty much what's going on for the rear. I'm gonna take this rear seat out. This rig's gonna be a 2-seater with just a bunch of cargo room. So let's go back over this way, the lighting's better. So here's your cargo space. I'm gonna take this goofy little subwoofer and amp out of there. It's not even working anyways, but decent amount of cargo room compared to the TJ. Quite a bit more room, but not enough. So this seat tumbles forward, you know, it folds and tumbles up, but I'm gonna completely take that seat out, and that should give me some nice cargo space. It almost kind of becomes like a CJ8 at that point, you know, like a Jeep Scrambler. So that'll be cool. Get that out of there, just have a nice flat cargo area. And then I'm thinking about putting a shelf midway up on this factory cage, just so I can separate heavy stuff from light stuff and not have to shuffle around as much when I need to get something out. I ended up having a shelf in Project ZJ at one point. It really helped out on the trail and during camping trips and things like that. So, but this is a pretty cool rig. It's fun. Like, it's got a little sound bar up here. There's your dome lights, and it's got some speakers in there. Stereo kicks pretty good, but it does need a subwoofer. It's got the full doors right now, the factory ones with the factory door panels, which I really like. And it's just so simple, you know, manual windows, manual door locks. This door's not even bolted on right now. You can just pull it right off. Definitely want to get some half doors for it. Probably going to get a slant back soft top and probably a slant back cargo net of some sort, just to keep stuff from flying out. So yeah, it's pretty clean on the interior. Dash is super clean. Seats are super clean. Probably gonna rip out this carpet, maybe do a bed liner or something down there, get rid of these goofy floor mats, get something better down there. So just have some cleanup work to do inside, but everything works. Heater works, AC works. Like I said, runs pretty good. I can probably pop the hood and show you guys the engine compartment. It's pretty clean, nothing to hide there. So yeah, I mean, the only other rust I found, I don't know if I can even show you, but up in this area here on each side, people say that happens from condensation from the defroster. This Jeep did spend some time on the East Coast, so there's some rust in here where like water from the windshield ran down and sat here, but it's just on the windshield portion, so I can actually fold this windshield down, see if I can repair that. Worst case scenario, get a new windshield assembly. So nothing too major. I also, just looking at kind of the shoddy bodywork here, I suspect there was the rust here in the famous spot where most of the Jeeps get rust there. Looks like they patched that up. I'll double check that and clean it out, but that'll all get covered up with rocker protection anyways, the rock sliders. So basically not too worried about that. That'll get covered up with some heavy gauge steel, and so as long as there's not rust still in there that can grow, we should be just fine. So yeah, I mean, it's coming together already, and like I said, once we get the frame all cleaned up and prepped and start getting the long arm suspension on there, this project's going to pick up a lot of momentum from there, because everything's pretty much lined up. I talked to Sean Wood over at Tom Wood's Custom Drive Shafts, and they're going to be on deck for this project as well. So that's great, because that really opens the door as far as how far we want to stretch this wheelbase. We'll have the custom heavy-duty drive shafts to go along with it. So that's about all I can think of right now. If you guys have any questions, any more information you want to know about it, you know, and where we're going with it. Oh, you know, I did forget a couple things. So the rear fenders and corners, those are going to have armor on it. I think I'm going to see if I can get Gatekeeper Off-Road armor, and then their sliders, the rocker protection, and also their highline front fenders, because then it would all fit together really well. I think that would just be super slick to have the same brand for everything. So that would be very nice for the armor. This Smitty built front bumper's got to go, so I'll be taking that off. That'll be for sale. I have the for sale. I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff for sale on Craigslist, including this Rubicon Express short arm lift once I get that off there. But gonna get a nice stubby bumper on the front with either a stinger or a bull bar on it, and then definitely gonna get a winch. That always comes in handy when you need it or somebody else needs it. So we'll get this front end cleaned up. And I forgot all kinds of stuff, guys. Sorry for the false alarm, we're not done yet. So got some LED headlights from, these were also from Amazon, and these things are super bright, really nice white light. And what I love about them is those little half circles on the top and bottom. Those are integrated daytime running lights and turn signals, which is awesome because this thing didn't have turn signals on it. It had the running lights on the flatline fenders, but did not have turn signals. And so people were always giving me dirty looks when they're like waiting to pull out and I'm turning in. And so they're waiting for me, and then they look at me like, thanks for the signal, jackass, you know. And I'm like, hey, it's on, you just can't see it from the front. So got that all figured out, and it has probably the world's tiniest light bar on the front bumper, and it used to be up on the top of it, which I thought looked ridiculous. So for now I put it down there, but it does work and it is pretty bright, so I left it there for now. But yeah, I mean, the headlights made a huge difference. It had just these dim factory lights on there. That yellow color looked like crap, so got that fixed up. Let me open the hood here and just give you guys a shot of the engine bay. It's pretty clean. I could probably do a little better job cleaning like the manifold and the inside of this, but I mean, I went through with a wet rag and just wiped everything down, and anything it was missing, like it was missing the coolant reservoir cap, went to the junkyard and got that. But it's pretty clean. Got a little bit of wiring to clean up under here, but for the most part looks really good under here. Didn't find anything crazy, and motor runs good. Just need to get those oil leaks we talked about figured out. And I love how easy it is to pop the hood on these things. And that's another big thing about Wranglers. This hood goes all the way back and leans against the windshield, so when you're working on it, especially the back of the motor, it's so easy to just get that hood out of the way. So this thing's filthy. I need to wash it. It is also a pretty cool color. I don't know if I'll call it rare, but I don't see it a lot. It's called Deep Barrel Green Pearl, and it's really a gorgeous color. I doubt the camera's doing it justice, especially because it's dirty right now. But it's like this deep blue green pearl with metallic flake in it. And you know, it looks black at night, it looks blue during the day sometimes, it looks green during the day sometimes, depending on the light. It's a really neat color, so I like to keep that color as much as I can and have the rest of the stuff maybe black, maybe like a black and green scheme. And then I'm definitely gonna change the wheels up. I might stick with 15s, get some 15x8s, but I don't know if I'm gonna do methods again or what. So if you guys have any advice on wheels, throw that down there in the comments for me so I can check that out, because I'm not too sure what kind of wheels I want to run on this yet. But I want to do something different. I don't think I want to run the same wheels I had on Project ZJ. They were the Method Double Standards. They work great, look great, but I think I want to change it up this time, to do something a little bit different. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it for now. I'm sure I forgot stuff, but I will keep you guys posted. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and stay tuned. Follow on Instagram, Project LJ. This thing's gonna be cranking full speed ahead real soon, so you guys aren't gonna want to miss that. Like I said, soon as that frame is cleaned up, we're gonna be full steam ahead. So make sure you get on board, be a part of the project, because I'm always asking for advice. I'm always having votes and stuff. It's not really just my Jeep or my project, it's kind of all of ours. Together we all come up with things and ideas and make different decisions, and it ends up working out really well, just like it did for Project ZJ. So yeah, thank you guys I hope everybody's doing well on their own projects. Love when you guys tag me in photos and stuff on Instagram so I can see what you're working on. So please continue to do that, and I will continue to keep you posted on Project LJ. Alright guys, sorry it's been so long. I'll keep the videos coming. Have a good one.